That's fitting for right now, for sure.
Very nice, solemn. Dan has probably three different versions of the Heeb Goy theme song.
Yeah.
I have to contribute to them and add some drums to one of them, but that is my favorite. That one is my favorite.
Yeah. It's rough right now, man. I'm in the process of moving, getting RV set up, getting the house sold, getting shit out of here. Movers come a week from yesterday, the 6th.
So Dan is a little subdued right now, unless jovial and or filled with bile and piss and vinegar, because he is just sort of beaten down by the process of moving and all things that come with like selling a house and moving shit around, and it's just like, for lack of a better term, like some serious adulting going on right now. Like there's just
Mm.
some fucking he is just deep in it with selling
Yeah.
houses and moving, and you got to call the mover, and you got to fucking. It's just so exhausting.
It is. Well, this one's weird because we're moving to an RV. So the RV is furnished, and you don't bring anything to the RV other than yourself, your clothes, your toothbrush, and so I got to get the pig situated. So we're getting the barn done. So we're going to probably move ourselves on the 4th, and then the 2 days later they'll come. The movers will come to
That's crazy. 4th of July. So this new plot of land that you're going to live on and eventually build on and stuff. How many miles is that from where you are right now?
15, something like that.
That's not bad, 15 miles. But I mean, it's going to be 4th of July. I don't know how it is around there, but 4th of July is just like, it's the worst.
I hate it.
Okay.
I hate it. I hate the 4th of July. I hate everything about it.
Wow.
I hate.
I just stumbled upon something I want to talk about.
It's blazing hot. First
the
of
4th
all,
of July.
It's blazing hot. Let's start there. Two, bunch of dipshits running around with explosives. Right.
It's the worst.
Right.
The worst.
It's miserable. It's just.
I hate the patriotism about 4th of July. I just do. It's disgusting. And you're right. It's the drunks and it's the explosives and it just people. Feel the need to go outside. I don't know how it is.
No, it's same. We're moving to a rural area, so it won't be bad there. But
yeah, your peopling will be better off. Like I got a friend out here because 4th of July, it's been 113 regularly out here in Arizona, and it's getting humid. It's getting bad. We've got lows of 90 degrees.
Oh.
So we got the air conditioning on now, not the swamp cooler. The air conditioning is going.
Is Ro outside like shaking her fist at the clouds? All mad.
Yeah. No, I mean so we got the place. It's decent in here, Yeah. But I know around here in Arizona, there's very few lakes and stuff. So the few lakes that there are around, every Yahoo feels the need to go to the lake or the river or the tube float or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's the worst. It seems like it is the people that want to engage in these activities are like the worst element. Like, I don't know what it is. It's just, it's vile.
Yeah.
And the older I get, the more I just don't want to be around like large groups of people.
I don't like, I hate everything about it. And you know, what's funny too? I have a permanent like dislike of 4th of July, and part of it is because it was my ex-wife's birthday.
Ties into that. So, you know what's funny, because I don't know too much about like you shared a little bit about your ex-wife and about that whole situation. And I'll be honest, before we started this podcast, like I don't know if I even registered that you were married before, that you had an ex-wife, or
it was a long time ago. I got married.
I knew anything about it.
The first time I got married was 2002, and so, sorry, 97, not 2002. We split in 2002. 97. I was so young. I was 20. I was just turned 24.
So that marriage only lasts like 5-6 years.
5 years is a respectable starter marriage, man. That's respectable.
Yeah, it's like a starter marriage. That's the one you start with, and then
you want to see the picture?
I do.
All right.
So
okay.
Let me ask you this: if the marriage is okay, here we go. Yeah.
Ready
This
for
is How old are you when you get married in 2000 in
I
1997?
am freshly minted 24 years old.
Oh my, that's way too young to get married. That's just, oh hell no. Look at this.
Wow.
Wow, dude.
Awful.
Oh my God. See, you make fun of my head. Look at that head.
Awful. Awful. Awful.
Look
Yeah,
at
awful.
fucking, bro.
Awful.
She's tiny. What is she, 5 feet tall? Christ.
She's like 5'1", yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Look how young you are, dude.
Yeah, it was her birthday, so every 4th of July.
Had to do something.
No. Not something. A specific, gotta see mommy. Gotta go see mommy.
Oh, right. The family involvement.
Mommy. And it was the worst because they were the worst distance they can be. The worst distance. Listen to me. I'm talking to you kids. If you're a young kid, you're listening to this. Listen to me. I'm going to give you the best.
Listen to Uncle Dan right now.
This is the best advice you're ever going to get about in-laws.
Never going to get.
This is the best advice you're ever going to get. There are two options for in-laws and family that work well, where you will keep your sanity. Two options.
Right.
Either you live within an hour, and that way, when you, number one, she can go by herself to see them, and number two, when you do see them, it's for dinner or it's for lunch.
Yeah, and it's not like a huge affair.
There's no overnight. You're in, you're out. It's an hour. You're in and out.
Yeah,
right? That's the best. That
I would agree.
Or they live on the other side of the planet. That's the other good one. The
and
worst possibility.
It's few and far between. So what? Well, let me guess. 5 hours away.
No, it's not five. Five at least you could claim as a flight. No, it was like 3, 2.5 to 3.
Oh, that's bad. That's a long fucking drive.
But it's short enough where you're doing it often. Right? It's the worst because
so how long of a drive? 2.5 hours?
It was about 2.5, yeah.
See, that's awful, dude.
But it would mean that if we see them, my weekend is shot. You're not getting a weekend. No weekend for you.
Yeah.
You're going to see mommy.
4th of July, there's mommy, there's driving, they're stuck in traffic, and no time for Dan. No time for anything that Dan wants to do is out the door.
All I really wanted, and I was so young and stupid, I didn't realize.
What did you want?
All I wanted, and I didn't know this about myself at times, I just don't like obligations. I want to be able to have a weekend where I don't have anything I have to do.
Right.
I want to wake up when I want. I want to do what I want. I mean,
that is the best. You know what? I love doing nothing. Like some people say, I'm bored. I'm bored. I got nothing to do. I'm like, are you fucking crazy?
I love being bored.
I love doing nothing. Yeah. I love doing nothing. So that's rough. So Dan, anyway. I want the kids. Let me ask you this though.
Mm-hmm.
So you get married. You're like 24 years old. You get married, and it's a 5-6 year marriage. At what point in time? How many years in is it that until you really know in your head, like, this was a mistake? Is it like 1 year in that you because it's not like.
No. So I was not self-aware enough at that time in my life to realize what was going on. Right. I was a late bloomer in life in terms of maturity. And I don't really think I grasped truly
how permanent,
how bad, what a dumb idea this was until it was done. Right. But if you're asking me when I realized, okay, shit's not going to work, it was around 4 years in.
4 years in?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
because the thing is,
4 years in, and then you got to okay, 2 years. I got to do something.
Because we didn't have your normal problems. Like there was no one cheated. There was no alcohol or drug problems. There was no money problems.
No kids.
Just we were young and stupid. No kids.
Yeah.
And it was overall. I mean, look in the universe of ex-wives, I got about the best one you can have because there was no fighting. Fuck you. I hate you. It was not like
there wasn't any massive drama.
No, we just split our shit down the middle. We went our separate ways. That was that. I don't ever have to see her again. There's no kids. So I got no complaints, right? I learned it actually made me a better person. Like I learned a lot about myself, about the world. And I think because of that experience, it helped me.
You know what? And that's true. And on a bigger picture, I think, this is something. It's interesting how little you know when you're younger, and then you get older and you just sort of know. You find out stuff from experience. People can tell you stuff all they want, but from experience is how you really learn. How I learn anyway, because I'm fucking stubborn. And one thing that's so true in general is like you learn, I've all heard this once and it's true. You learn more from your failures than you do from your successes. And that is so fucking true. Like, it's so true. You got to fuck up and just fail at something and be like, oh, here's how not to do that again. Here's how to do it and do it right.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. Because if you just keep doing things and everything works out just perfect, you don't even know why it works out perfect. It just does, and you can't replicate it.
I'm also generally of the belief that most people, and there are exceptions, and I know a couple of exceptions, but generally speaking, most people do not have their shit together at 23 to the point where they're equipped to have a successful, long-term, healthy relationship.
I would agree.
Now there are exceptions, of course. There's people who mature earlier in life and mentally mature, and they do fine. And I know a couple of those. But it's just like you show me high school sweethearts who got married, and I'm showing you a dysfunctional marriage. Usually,
yeah,
probably 80%
I know.
of the time.
It's strange though. You know what's interesting? All Rose sisters got pretty much married their high school sweethearts and are still in strong, good relationships today. Like me and Rose relationships is like, I don't know, 20 something years now at this point. And we're the youngest relationship out of all her sisters. The other one's clocking. And they're just
scratch the surface on those. You're telling me, they're all good. They're all great.
I don't want to talk about my family too much.
No, I'm just.
But I mean, it looks good to me.
You're going to give me a list of 3 people and say all these 3 people are married their high school sweetheart. I'm telling you that if you're playing the odds, if you're just playing the odds, 2 out of those 3 are highly dysfunctional.
So maybe something's going on under the surface. Who knows? You know what I mean?
Highly unlikely that all 3 are good.
Yeah.
Because think about it. You're marrying someone you met when you were 16, 15.
Like it's crazy to think that you could marry someone like how fucked up I was at 16 or 23. Like, honestly, I was fucked up at 33. I'm still fucked up now.
No, I think emotionally I had my shit together by the time I was about 30. But like, anyway, I'm always a little dubious of high school sweethearts who get married.
Yeah.
A little dubious. I mean, again, of course there are exceptions. Of course there's people who do it and it works out and everything's great. Of course. But
I just can't wrap my head around
it. The odds are not in your favor there, in my opinion.
So you had a starter marriage. I like how you put that. It's like an appetizer, and then you get that.
You know what's funny is at the time, so I was like the first one to get divorced of everyone I knew. It was 2002, and I'm getting divorced. I was 28, and everyone's like, wow. "Oh, poor Dan. Oh man,
poor Dan."
But the thing is, like, I had the last laugh because now I know a gazillion people who have gotten divorced since then, who have kids, and it's nasty. I mean,
the older,
nasty.
It's almost better to get in and get out.
Yeah. I didn't even need a lawyer when we got married. It was easy because we didn't hate each other. It was easy. Like
split everything down. It wasn't
the people that I know, man. It is fucking nasty. It is. They hate each other. They have to pretend not to hate each other around the kids, but like it's fucking terrible. I know. I have one friend who. They got divorced. They're in Massachusetts, and she has to pay him like weekly, I think, or maybe monthly.
She pays him. That's unusual.
It's palimony because she makes more money than him, and this guy. But the thing is, it's only $800 a month. Like I don't know. Like I'm not really a manly, but I just don't think I could take $800 a month from my ex-wife. I think I would feel like a loser. Like I don't know.
I could. I mean.
Fair.
I could.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway. So 4th of July always.
Back to that. So the reason I'm moving on the 4th is I figure I'll have nothing else to do. I'm not off to work, so we'll go ahead. Because moving into an RV is different because I don't have to wait for the movers. Like it's already furnished. I literally just plop my ass in there and I moved in. Right.
So where is this RV right now? Is it at the dealership still?
It's at the dealership. They're going to deliver it on Tuesday. We're going to plug it in, get the water in, make sure everything works, and then on Thursday.
Hold on, this RV. It's not a trailer. It's an RV, so you can drive this big box. It's got a driver.
It's a 5th wheel.
It's a 5th wheel. Okay, so they deliver it. You don't have. Are they going to deliver it to your new plot of land and set it up there?
Yeah.
So there's not ever a point where you've got to get into the driver's seat of a pickup truck and drive it around.
No,
Like you don't have to
my
do
truck
that.
can't haul this heavy.
Yeah. So
So
so you probably have to meet them on your land to
meet
like
them on the
guide them
land, show them where to
where
put
you
it,
want it. Yeah, yeah.
plug it in. I
Make sure that it's level, that it's all
they'll
that.
do that, and then I plug it in, make sure everything works. Then I I get the water going, make sure the water is good,
Yeah.
and then it should be good. And then I have my
Word of
barn.
advice, make sure to really understand the trajectory of the sun and how you want the house situated as far as sun up, sun down. Like if you get like blazing hot afternoon sun in the biggest window of the place, you might want to consider that. Or like, do you like the morning sun to come in the front door while you have your coffee? And because a house is something like you could just move it around and get, like if it's close to a tree line that's casting shade, or I don't think it is. I remember looking at your property. There's no fucking tree line on your property.
Zero.
So I mean, but just like you can have an opportunity to put it.
Yeah, we'll tinker with
want.
that. I mean, the main thing is just I want to make sure everything works so I can move in. And then assuming everything works, which it should, I mean, it's brand new, so we'll deliver it, you plug it in, you get the water plugged in, you turn on the water, you get everything turned on, good to go. And then we move in on Thursday, and then the movers come to my current house the following Saturday, pick up all my shit, put it in storage. It all goes in storage, and then it sits there.
Out of all your shit that you and Kara have in the house, an overwhelming 80% of this shit is going to climate controlled storage. Do you think that's accurate?
Furniture,
80%?
all of it is, because we're not bringing furniture. That's going to that's going into storage. That goes into the house.
Maybe 85% of everything that you and Kara own in that house is going into climate controlled storage.
Right.
Wow. Okay. You know what? That's good in a way, because then it's like life gets a little more simple when you live in a trailer like that, because there's like less shit to be on top of. See,
that's true. So you move in, everything's there. You literally need yourself, your clothes, your whatever, your pots and pans, and then it is definitely simpler. It's just a matter of I got to get this house emptied. I got everything out of it, and then it closes on Wednesday the 10th. So I'll have a few extra days to tinker here.
We might not do a podcast next Sunday because you're just going to be in the middle of some.
Well, I'll be at the RV. So I don't know if I guess I'll do the podcast from the barn.
And I request that you do it from the pig barn, because I want to see you in the shot that I'm looking at right now, but straw in the background and the pigs.
No, there's no straw. Around. So it's a metal building. It's a 20 by 18 metal.
You told me, but then you said you had fresh straw put down on the bottom of it.
Huh? No, I didn't.
What's straw. The floor?
It's a slab.
Oh, just a concrete slab?
Yeah.
What if they poop and pee on the concrete slab?
They don't pee inside. They pee outside.
They do?
Yeah.
Oh.
Pigs are clean, man. They don't. They keep a clean area.
Okay. Yeah. Not like a chicken coop where I've seen.
No. Chickens are nasty. No, pigs don't do that. So they'll have a door that goes outside, but they'll sleep inside.
Kind of like a dog for a dog door, where they know not to pee inside and they'll go outside.
No, I mean, so I'll be all set. So yeah, we should be able to do it next Sunday. We'll see how it goes. There's a lot of moving parts. I got to get the Starlink set up, which is the internet, and I got we got to see how.
Well, I'm excited for you, Dan. It sounds like you've got that all set up to go, and I know that's what you're in the middle of doing. Myself, I don't have too much. Like I talked about what was going on the last podcast we did. I was at the Airbnb,
right?
And I talked about
now you're home again, right?
So I'm home again.
Yeah.
And I could not wait to get home. I was like, I just learned that just being away for 3 weeks camping in the desert was just too much, and I was like, I just want to go home. So I got in the car and I drove home the night of the debates. I'm like, I just got to go home, Just got in the car. I wanted to just drive all the way home, and so happy to get home. I mean, I got here and she had homemade lasagna like ready.
Ooh. And
I was like, oh my God. And like, the house is clean and it's air conditioned, and I got my little room, and I was like, went in, watched TV. I was like, oh, it feels so good to be home, And it is weird because we are sort of thinking about, in about 4 years' time, selling the house outright and doing a permanent nomad style life where you travel around in little trailers and just live that way. And so, but it's moments like that. And of course we're all in, But it is moments like that where you drive home and you go home and then you realize, oh, it's my house, you know? And then you go, oh, but what if I don't have this? Like, that's going to be a weird feeling. And those are the moments that give me pause. Like, I don't know, dude. I really like my house.
Yeah. Well, I do have, so because the week goes unpunished. So as you know, I'm selling all my real estate.
Hey, refresh your internet. It's getting a little fuzzy again, like last time.
Hold on.
But because it worked really good last time you did this to solve the fucking problem. It was like a reload. Because sometimes, Dan, I noticed the feed gets jumpy.
Okay, let's try that.
It looks a little better to me. I mean, your picture looks fuzzy. You're still more handsome than me, but like it's just a little more fuzzy. So what's going on?
I'm selling all of my real estate, and one of the houses I'm selling was occupied by my 82-year-old uncle. And so I sent him back to Chicago to be with his family.
Are you going to talk about the airport cat situation?
So he's going to fly in. He's going to move to Illinois to be near his family and near his grandkids and everything. And he says, I don't think I'm going to take the cat. I'm like, what do you mean you're not going to take? You can't leave a cat. Like, you can't leave a cat. Like,
he was just going to say, fuck it, just leave it here.
Well, he loves this cat, so I was shocked. They're hard to rehome. Right? So I got to the bottom of it, and I realized he's just super overwhelmed. He's 82. He's super overwhelmed with moving and stress. And when you fly with a cat or a dog, you have to take them in a specific type of carrier, and you have to take them out of the carrier at security.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you got the dog or the cat in the carrier at security. You open it up. You take the
like at the big screening where everyone takes off their shoes, like that area, or there's
that area. Yes.
Oh, I've never seen it.
They take the dog or the cat out. They then screen the carrier, and then you put the cat back. Now, this particular cat used to be feral, so she can be really skittish and hard to get hold of. So
your 82-year-old uncle is thinking, I'm going to take this cat out, and it's going to fucking dart, and that's going to be it for the cat.
He's just freaking out about the whole thing. So I said, look, I'll tell you what. I said, look, I'll tell you what. You're moving on whatever it was, the 23rd, whatever date it was. Yeah. Like a week later, when you're moved and settled, I will bring the cat to you. I will fly to Chicago with this cat.
That's where I got to tell the podcast audience that Dan did a really nice thing.
Mm-hmm.
Dan says to his uncle, I'm going to fucking, you know what? So Dan takes a flight to Chicago and back for the sole purpose of just accompanying the cat and bringing the cat on the airplane through TSA, whatever the fuck, delivering the cat to his uncle. He probably has a dinner with the uncle, whatever, and gets on a plane, comes fucking back home to Florida, right?
I flew, yes. I got on a plane at like 6 o'clock at night, 5 o'clock at night on a Friday. I flew to Chicago. I brought him the cat. I spent the night with my aunt who lives in a place up there nearby. And I saw her, and then the next morning I'm back on a plane home because I got shit to do, man. I can't.
It's a bad time for you to be fucking making. Quite honestly, surprised you took time out of your day to do this and fucking just like you have to take just to deliver a cat.
No, the cat acclimated. It was a nice moment. He was the cat. Everything worked out. Everybody's happy. His house that he lived in is about ready to go on the market next week. We'll be all good. Sell the house, get a few shekels. Everybody wins, right?
Was your uncle overwhelmed with joy, like when you showed up with the cat and he loves the cat and nice to see. Thank you for bringing the cat.
He was very happy. Yes, I think, and the cat acclimated so fast. I thought this cat would be hiding for weeks, but she did well. So I have a couple of little. I took a few. I did a little diary of travel. I sent you one picture that I'm going to show the audience.
Yeah. So Dan and I are pretty. We can be different in a lot of ways, but there's one thing that Dan and I are completely locked in on, and that is we're not big fans of children and families in general. But it gets hyper focused whenever we do air travel, and you have to sort of share the world with families and children, and for lack of better words, we have a term for what we call bad parents. We call them breeders.
I know that's mean, but yeah,
I don't care. I mean, it's true.
Anyway,
so Dan had a run-in with some serious breeders in the airport. Your breaking
X.
up again. What are we're saying? The yellow X?
You see the little X?
Yeah.
Okay. That's where I was sitting.
You were sitting in the chair with the yellow X, and there was no one else in the shot?
There was the woman, the black lady there. You see her?
The woman with the black what?
Yeah.
You're breaking up.
Let me try to refresh.
Yeah, you're breaking up pretty bad. I don't know if I am, but let me see if I can shut this down.
No, it's me. I think there's something wrong with the local internet crap here.
So you were sitting in that seat with the yellow X, and there was not a lot of other people in the shot. And then some kid came up and said, "Hey, can I sit here?" Hello? Okay, I'm going to have to riff solo because I think Dan is experiencing some, Dan is experiencing some internet problems.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, a million times better and more fluent right now.
Okay. So
Picture's even better.
Start over. You see the X.
Yes.
That is where I was sitting. There's a black woman. You'll see like 3 seats down. She was there.
Okay.
And on the other side, you cannot see. There's a woman. You can see the person with their legs crossed.
Yeah.
That person was there. So there was a blank seat on one side of me and 2 blank seats on the other.
So you did let me just say, so you did what I do when it comes time for waiting for a plane. You want to go find, doesn't have to be near your gate either. You just want to find a very remote place where there's not a lot of people sitting.
Yeah.
And you'll even go like, I'll walk a football field's distance. I don't give a fuck. Whatever is the most empty looking corner of the airport, that's where I'm going. Yes. And it sends a clear signal to everyone else. Look, I want to be alone. And you would think that people read up on that, but no. So what happens?
So I'm sitting there minding my own business.
Sitting in the yellow X chair.
Just in the yellow X chair. You see the girl on the floor below the yellow
X. Yeah.
He walks up to me. Excuse me, is anyone sitting here? Meaning to the seat to my left and the seat to my right. And then I saw the mother with the kid. She's breastfeeding. And then they have the other kids. So that's their kid too, the boy.
Yeah. Right.
And I saw what was doing here, and I'm like, I'm out. I said exactly that.
Did you say
I'm out? So I put my shit away. I had my computer out. I put it away. I put on my backpack. I got the fuck out. And these
the mom okay. So if the little daughter,
not a oh thank you or oh we don't mean to displace you or no They were all too happy.
There's an entitledness. Like, we're moving in. Me and my 2 kids and my baby, we're moving in. We need this spot more than you.
Yeah. And then the husband, he's not in the picture. He was a complete beta. You know, honey, what do you want to say? He was that guy. And like,
are you an alpha, Dan? Are you an alpha?
No, I'm definitely not an alpha, but this guy was a beta. Like he was, I don't know. I don't know.
It's funny that you use that term.
Anyway.
All right, go ahead. So
what's the worst? Soy boy? What do they say these days? Like, I don't know. I don't know the lingo.
The guy was a milk toast.
Yes, milk toast. Very milk toast.
That's an older school word that is less problematic than beta alpha. So
why is it wait. Why is it problematic? I'm not you're right. Alpha male's bad. You don't want to be an alpha male.
It's bad. You get guys like talking about that, and then if there's I'm an alpha.
When I hear people described as beta, I just assume they're wimpy.
You could use so then use the word wimpy or milquetoast. So the guy's kind of like
the shit that you care about. Anyway, so this guy, he just bothered me. Something about the guy, like I just wanted, you know what? It would have been nice if one of them had said, it's okay, thank you, or either thank me for getting the fuck out so they can take the whole area, or hey, we're sorry, because their kid they didn't give a fuck. They did not give
the kid decided that's where she wanted to be.
I don't blame the child. The child that's a child. That's like she's 5, 6. I don't blame her. It's the parents. They don't give a fuck.
But the parents somehow taught the child that it's okay just to walk up.
They don't give a fuck. They want what they want, and they want a place to sit. And look, I would, if they walked up to me and said, hey, there's 4 seats here. Do you mind scooting over? I still would have left, but I would have had way more respect.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I would have left no matter what. I don't want any, you see this scene. I want
So
nothing.
Dan, okay, so Dan, and by the way, this is another thing where like most people will be watching this or listening to this and go, Dan and Bruce are crazy. This is no big deal, you know. But I'm with you on this 100%. Dan texted me this picture and he told me this was going on, and I was just like livid. I was like, and I told Dan in text, this is true. I'm like, did you get up and huff and puff and make noises and gestures and let this woman know?
The woman,
and let this family know.
The mother was oblivious. I let the kid know. I'm like, I'm out, kid. Don't worry, it's all yours.
I would have.
All yours.
I would have. See.
Well, I wasn't mad at the kid,
but all right. I get mad at the parents. I would have shot the mother daggers through my eyes.
Of course, she didn't care.
And made huff and puff like
she's busy. She's got her baby, man. She's got to squeeze some milk out and get that baby fed. She doesn't give a fuck. She doesn't care, right? So, and again, look, I accept I'm the weird one. I accept that. I don't like small children. I'm sorry. Sorry, people. I don't like small children. And, but you know what I always say? When people get mad at me, I'm like, do you really want to know the child, this 50-year-old who loves small children? Really?
See, yeah, that's my argument all the time. I mean, I swear to God.
That's what you'd rather?
Like,
I love toddlers. You really would rather that?
I mean, 100%. Like, what is so... Yeah, you don't got to be worried about guys like me and you who just aren't a big fan of little kids.
I'm looking to be as far from your children as possible. Right.
Get away.
I structure my life to stay away from children.
I do. Yeah, I just don't want. I'm going to go ahead and tell a story that I hope the person doesn't hear it, but it's similar. So let's just say, don't follow up questions with me, but let's just say that at some point in the past couple months, I'm staying at a place with an Airbnb, right? So I'm staying at a place with an Airbnb, and a friend of mine is running it, and they said, okay, you know, I'm glad you like staying at this Airbnb. By the way, I know I got to have someone else is going to come join you in the Airbnb. I'm like, what do you mean? I thought I had the Airbnb. Someone else is going to come join you in the Airbnb. It's going to be my friend and her family.
Oh, no. I would have left.
And I did.
Okay, good.
I mean, this was months ago, and I was staying at some friend's Airbnb, and I was supposed to stay there till X amount of time. And then they told me like, hey, I've got a friend who's coming in, and you'll like them. They're nice. But it's my friend and her family you're going to be sharing the house with.
We do not hear family. No.
So it's funny because I had to read the text a couple times because at first I thought I'm having a friend coming, and I'm thinking it's irritating, but I mean, beggars can't be choosers. And it's like, all right, maybe the person will be cool. You never know. I saw that word family and my blood pressure shot up. I'm like, there's going to be a child here that I don't know running around in this fucking house. No.
Mm-mm.
And so the trip was cut short, and I was out. That was just several months.
Yeah, no, I would have left too.
Yeah, I mean, it was just
unless we're talking adult children, you know, maybe it's an older person who has 20-something kids, and maybe, but like,
oh, no. Dude, no, I don't. So, but when you travel so this is my move too. Like when I go to the airport, like I hate traveling, I hate flying, and as bad as the whole thing is. I mean, it's a tough call. If you try to, I'll ask you this. When it comes to flying and how unpleasant, well, you fly first class, so you don't, I know what the answer is going to be. But when I fly, it's a toss up between what is the worst situation? Is it the actual flying on a plane that's bad? Or is it the process of waiting and getting on the plane and dealing with the airport that is bad? Like, which is the worst one? And for me, it's a slight narrow. The airport and dealing with the airport is worse than flying on a plane, even though I fly coach. I
will spend whatever I have to spend to avoid the genpop. Period.
Yeah, Dan.
Period. Dan. Now there's ways around this. So, like in the airport, they have these lounges, right? Yeah. The problem is in this particular trip, I don't have a membership to the lounge that was there. And I was this was a shorter one, so I didn't have to stay long. I won't deal with the lounge unless I have like a 2-hour layover or something. Yeah. But like in this case, I thought I could avoid the gen pop, right? And it was fine until but
you know what else is probably happening? Like you found this, to be clear, this area with the seating is not at your gate where the plane is, right?
It was near my gate. It was
near.
It was close by.
So what probably happens, and this happens to me too, like you find a place, you find a little nook that is quiet and not a lot of people sitting around in there, and you sit there, and it's probably not at your gate. It's probably at across the hall or a different gate, right?
Yeah. Normally,
And then what happens is you sit there a little while, and what happens is either that gate or another one that's very close, it's coming up soon, and people start to, that's what's going on here.
The
right?
bottom line is, in today's society, you just can't count on people to not be selfish douchebags. And all I want is to get out of people's way. That's it. I just want to be out of your way. And and I don't blame the kid, but the fact that the mother just didn't give a single shit at all, like, was just like, really? Like, and again, I'm happy to get up. Even if they had said to me, hey, do you mind if we take this, our kids? Or I would have been annoyed, but look, at least you asked. At least you said something.
Yeah, so there's a difference between like guys like me and you who are like over hyper sensitive about being in other people's way, right? So we're going to get the hell out of the way because here comes a person we're just single people without any kids. These are fucking roaming groups of families who just think that since they're a family, that everyone needs to move out of their way. That I guarantee you, this is the same type of woman who will ask a person to cut in line because I got my kids with me and one's cranky. Hey, do you mind if I get ahead and cut in line?
It was just really, the weird part was, you see how young these kids are. There's a boy and a girl.
They're already got that entitled.
These aren't 15-year-old kids. These are young children.
Yeah.
And they were acting very independent, which I guess in some cases can be good. But in this case, it just was weird because the parents just didn't give a shit. They just didn't give a shit. I'm telling you.
So what did she say? What did the little girl say exactly when she ran up on you?
Excuse me, is anybody sitting here? And she was referring to the seat to my left. If you're looking at the picture to the right.
Right. In this big empty area, she wanted to sit and be in the seat that was right next to you.
You there?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm here. Am I fucked up right now? Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Am I off? I can see myself real good. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Am I off? Am I off? Am I moving? Check 1 2. So I think Dan. So now I'm looking at a picture of Dan's frozen. We're experiencing a lot of technical difficulties this week here on the Heeb Goy show.
Can you see me now?
And
what is?
I can see you now. Did I freeze up or did you? You froze up.
This is me. I think there's something going on here. I don't know what. Anyway.
But anyway, so she walked out of all these seats. She walked up and she wanted to be in that seat that was right next to you.
The child. And so I see this kid and I'm like, I'm out. And again, the weird part was the parents were trailing behind her and they just didn't care. I got up and leave and they were all too happy just to take this.
So it wasn't like, oh, thank you, sir. Or like, hey, leave. Let's find a place else. That man was sitting there. Like nothing.
Nothing. They don't care. I don't think she even realized what the kid did.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I don't think the mother was even paying attention. Ugh. As you can see now, she's not paying attention.
No, I'm annoyed. Every time I fly, I mean, look, we already are annoyed at families as a concept to begin with, which I know is weird for most people. And then so then then they travel together, and it's just like, oh, fuck.
Yes, you must bow to our will.
Yeah,
so, I had one other thing happen that I thought was worthy of mentioning.
All right, what's that, bro?
This guy.
Oh, okay. So before you can get into it, I must revisit that we had an episode a couple weeks ago where Dan went off on a tirade against people with masks here in post-COVID world, and how it irritated Dan that people were wearing masks.
So I have I wouldn't say hatred, fascination with the germaphobe class, the ones with these type of suffocation masks. This guy's got the suffocation mask. This is the one.
What is the suffocation? What is it? The
N95?
N95. Okay.
And it's got the straps. And this is the mask where if you are wearing it correctly, it's uncomfortable, right? It's very tight on your face. So this guy's a germaphobe. That's what he is, right?
Dan, what if he is immunocompromised?
I just don't. He was too fat to be immunocompromised.
What if
I don't know. No. I'm playing the odds here, man. Germaphobe.
Dan.
Germaphobe. Sorry.
He might be immunocompromised. Dan, there are people out there that are immunocompromised.
There absolutely are, but we've always had respiratory viruses. Did this guy wear a mask in 2018 like this in an airport?
Dan, why do medical professionals in hospitals wear masks?
I'll tell you exactly why. They don't wear these. They wear the regular surgical masks, and the purpose of it is to stop particles like spittle from entering the surgical field, so that when they're performing an operation or a procedure and they
Like
talk.
like if they cut it or they cough or like blood splatters up at them, at least it's not going in their mouth.
No. Well, that too, but mainly it is to stop spittle, so that when they're doing surgery and if they're talking.
So these stop spittle and smaller particles.
The one you're conflating two different things. The masks that they wear at the surgery that medical professionals wear, generally speaking, are called surgical masks.
Yeah, those blue ones.
Yeah, they don't stop respiratory viruses. The purpose of them is to keep particles like spit. If you had a tuna sandwich, keep the fucking minced onion. So it's if you accidentally, people say it, don't spray it.
So this guy's clearly sitting 2 seats away from you. Like, is this?
No,
after
he's a little
you
further
moved?
away. This is zoomed in. He's
okay,
4 seats away.
So this is after you moved from the kid area to this different.
No,
area.
This was a different airport. This is when I was coming. The other one was when I was going home.
Dan, do you ever suppose maybe the problem lies with you and not the person wearing the mask or the families?
No,
you would not even.
No. The family thing. Okay, I am absolutely.
Are you the problem?
I wouldn't say I'm the problem, because what do I really want? I just want to be left alone. That's all I want. Is that too much to ask? Is that unreasonable?
I think, you know what? It's funny. Do you want to be left alone? Is that too much to ask? In an airport where they don't want to, it's weird, like, because the more seats they make and the more just open area they have in an airport, it's more for them to cost to run it. It's a bigger place, bigger to clean, bigger to air condition and stuff. So I think when they design airports, they make it to where let's make enough seats where people can wait. They're not looking to make people comfortable.
No, and that's
right.
I know. You're asking me if I'm the problem. I'm saying, okay, with the mask people, I probably am the problem, because I'm not going to let it go ever. But
no.
So
your thing was like, this is one of those, because this is very uncomfortable to wear this mask.
Right. So you have two types of people who wear masks these days. You have the ones with like the regular surgical paper masks, which do nothing, which I don't know why people are wearing them at all, but maybe they don't know any better, whatever the reason, right? But those don't really do anything, but they're not uncomfortable. This sucker, like, that is uncomfortable. If you're wearing that and you're sitting in an airport for an hour and then you get on a plane for another hour or two, and then, that's not.
Let me ask you this, devil's advocate. What if it's not uncomfortable to him?
Then he's not wearing it right. It's true. But no, it's absolutely true. You ask a doctor or medical professional who wears one of those, and they will tell you. And have you seen the pictures of people who wear them when they take them off? There's like,
that leaves a mark.
There's like imprints.
Yeah.
And look, those work. I'm not saying that like the paper ones and like the surgical, those don't work for to stop anything. But what he's wearing works. So I'm not criticizing him for that. I'm criticizing him because I don't care how much I fear getting a cold. I couldn't walk around looking that stupid. Like that's where I mean,
I got a problem with it when you say it looks stupid, because it becomes more of a fashion thing. Like, what if you were an old guy that saw a person with a mohawk and said, that guy looks stupid?
No, that's different. That's not the same thing. That's the opposite of this. A mohawk is anti-establishment. A mohawk is fuck you, politician, fuck you, dad. Right. Whereas
I just think it's funny that you're so anti-mask. It's just funny. Like, I personally would not wear, like, I'm done wearing masks. I'm not going to wear them in the airport. I don't give a fuck. They're really, really uncomfortable. And I did wear the masks when I had to, and I got all my virus shots. No problem. I'm for it. But it doesn't fucking bother me when someone wears a mask. It really doesn't bother me.
Okay, I'll tell you why it bothers me.
We went over this. We had a whole fucking podcast about this.
This guy in this picture, it's that guy that put us through hell for 2 years. It's that guy who insisted that we close beaches and that we close schools and that we tell fucking 3-year-olds they had to put a piece of cloth on their face. It's that guy.
All right. I'm going to have to insist that we move to a different topic, because
hold on. This is the reason I'm not letting it go. I'm not against the idea of somebody saying, I really don't want to get sick, so I'm gonna take precautions. But when I see this guy, and he fits the profile of the rich douchebag whose worst problem in the world is that he might get a cold. Like that is what I see. And
It
I
could
could
be
be
a guy
wrong.
who's Dan. You probably,
Bruce, I will tell you,
you could be wrong. You could be
I
wrong.
could be wrong. 100%.
You're playing the odds. I get it.
I'm playing the odds.
I'm saying there are people out there who are immunocompromised and are
Yes.
going to an airport and they're like, you know what? I don't want to get sick. I'm going to wear a mask. And why should that piss
if
you off?
that's this case with this guy, then I mea culpa.
Then you take it all back.
I'm a douche. Hit me in the face. Tell me I'm an asshole. 100%. Absolutely.
Well, you're playing the odds, and you just don't think that's that guy.
I'm playing the odds, and I think I got this guy nailed.
Yeah, you like to judge appearances and people by their cover, which I do too sometimes. I get, I hear you.
With a certain amount of accuracy. That's
okay.
All. You're not going to be right all the time. You're not.
No.
You're not.
But I will respectfully say it's time to move to a different topic because we spent an entire.
No, I don't. You're right. You're absolutely correct. I just wanted to say, but I have one other thing to add that's funny, and then I'll move on. So this guy's sitting there. He's got his suffocation mask on, and I'm.
How many seats away? Because you said, hold on, like 5 seats away.
Probably about 4 to 5. Yeah. So I'm sitting down, minding my own business. A woman comes over, older woman, and she sits right in between us, not right next to him, not right next to me, like somewhere.
So there's this. So it's him seat, woman seat, you.
Yes.
Okay.
Older woman, 60s.
Gets up and leaves, huffs and puff. Did he?
Well, not initially. Hold on, I dropped my mic. Not initially, but she sits down and she was a little snotty. She had a Kleenex with her, and so she's and it wasn't.
So she's snorkeling, Dan. She's like snorkeling, and
there's a difference, right? And I'm grossed out by people who are snotty and blow their noses. It wasn't extreme. It seemed kind of allergy kind of thing to me, but she was a little snotty, right? A little bit.
It was a typical old woman that just had a Kleenex out, and it wasn't outwardly gross.
No, it wasn't
outwardly Typhoid Mary type vibes, but it was just like she's just an older lady that's sniffling, whatever.
This guy.
Did he huff and puff like he with the kids? Like he got up.
His eyes got real wide.
Really?
And he left. He left. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
But that's funny, and I'm with you on that. But check this comparison out. That guy got up and left because the woman had this handkerchief out, and we're like making fun of him.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
I left.
Got up when a small child, a perfectly normal small child said, "Can I have this seat?"
Yeah.
And somehow this, Dan, do you see the comparison?
Yes.
How
so you're
this guy.
The way that you and I feel about small children is the way this guy feels about a sick person.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. But here's the thing. It's good, like we were talking about earlier in the show. The older you get, it's good to be more self-aware. You know what I mean? And this is one of those exercises, like for sure. Like when we talk about, kids in the airport and stuff like this, it's like, oh, I know how crazy that is. Like, because even looking at this photo, anyone else that's looking at this photo is going, what's the fucking problem? Those look like perfectly, no, seriously, because those kids aren't running around. They're not running around with ice cream cones. They're just coloring.
Listen,
really,
Bruce, imagine if I had just sat there, if I had been a normal person and I had sat there and said, no, little girl, these seats aren't taken. And I had stayed put. Here's what would have happened. Mommy would have grabbed the seat she's in and took her boob out and started breastfeeding.
No, not right next to you.
I don't know. The kid
that would have been an interesting experiment. What I want you to do next time is hold your ground.
No.
Next time.
No.
And then
torture.
Find
out
where they sit and then get up and leave. Like
no.
That might have been Dan. Think about how the pleasure of this. Like, so you're sitting in yellow X, right? Uh-huh. Here comes the kid. Is there someone sitting here? And I'm like, well, I'm sitting here. You check out this different approach in a different parallel universe. She comes and she says the sentence, is someone sitting here?
No, here meaning the one next to me is what she meant.
Right. And then you'd be like, no, not in that one, but I'm sitting here. And that's what you say.
Right.
Okay. And then the mom comes up. I don't think here's what I'm saying. The mom doesn't take that seat. The mom sits somewhere else. In fact, the move you could have done since you like alpha beta, is done the alpha move. And when she walks up, you look at her dead in the eyes, like, bitch, this is my seat.
A child?
No, the woman.
Oh, the mother.
The child. But yeah, the child.
The mother didn't even know I was there, bro. She
would have known you were there if she went to sit right next to you.
The mother was oblivious. The kid asked me, the minute I see that kid, I start putting the fucking computer away. I knew what was happening.
I know what you do. You combine the two stories. So when the mom comes walking up, you take out the fucking napkin and you start snortling heavy in it. Like you perform it.
That's not a bad idea.
It's a really good idea.
You know, it reminds me of a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode where Larry David famously is like us. He doesn't want to be around other people.
Yeah,
he lives in L.A. and there's an episode where in order to get people to avoid him, he started wearing one of those red Trump hats, and anywhere he went, people would avoid him.
That's really funny.
It is funny.
I saw one that was kind of similar where a guy gets on a crowded New York City subway train and there's no seats and he's leaning up against the pole and he starts to pretend he's going to throw up. Like,
people clear out.
And literally 7 people just fucking got out of there.
Yeah.
And then he stopped doing that and sat down in a chair and everybody's like, you motherfucker.
Yeah. So I it's interesting. I couldn't have possibly stayed. I mean, the idea of having to sit there while these people situate is my hell. That's my hell. Like,
I often thought about creating. So when you fly in a plane and you got like, I'm think about coach. Like I know you always go first class, but so when you're on coach and you got that horrible small
you
seat.
told your invention.
I told you about the Shine It box, right?
Yes,
the Shine It shields in the box. It's like literally a flappable box. And then I think they did make something like that, where it's like a fan that folds out and you put it and you figure out. But I want something hardcore. I want something that's a box, an opaque plastic box.
Yeah.
That's heavy. That's lined with like a sound deadening material. And then it only has one window right in the front, like a ski mat, like a fucking like this.
Yeah. You look like a Cylon.
And there should be like little holes in the front to where you can say, Mr. Anderson, Will Anderson, like you stick your hands through the fucking holes to get things, and like that's the box, and they can't lean against you. But I don't know. I just don't think there's that much hope left in humanity when I hear stories like that. Because okay, here's another story. How about this? I want your opinion on this. I have a strong opinion on this. So they're always telling stories about how, like here in America, how we can help improve things by having mass transit, right? Like how come in Europe they have good trains, and Asia they got good trains, and there's less cars on the road and all that. And I'm totally get it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So then they announced on the news that they're moving forward with this high-speed rail that goes from LA to San Francisco, and how it's going to be great, and it's going to be great, and it's going to save a lot of cars, and people are going to love it. I have a different opinion on it. Like, it's true that it would help, but I think innately as Americans, they don't like trains. Americans don't like public transportation. And it's for a couple reasons. We can't behave on public transportation, right? Mm-hmm. And people like me and you, it's becoming like, I just don't want to be around other people. I want to be in my own car by myself. Like, we like that. And I've been to Europe. You've been to Europe. They don't have that thing in Europe where it's like this revulsion against being in public transportation with other people.
You're right about that. The people in Europe have a much higher tolerance for proximity.
They have a higher, and they're just used to it. It's part of their culture. It's like, oh, let's take the tube or whatever, But I mean, so they're gonna make this high-speed rail that goes from LA to San Francisco.
Well, they've been talking about that forever. Like,
well, they finally got over. It was in the news because they got over a road bump, some sort of zoning problem near LA. And so they're like, oh, we're gonna go ahead with this. It's gonna be great. And I'm thinking, okay, but are people really going to use it? Like, I just kind of don't think that it's in the American DNA to do that. We like our own cars too much. We like to be left alone. And then there is this sort of view that people that ride public transportation are less than. Like, in other words, right? It's like a flex to be in your own car and drive somewhere. Like, oh, you got to take the bus. Like, right or wrong.
It depends. Like, that's not true of like New York City subway or Boston.
It's not, but it is something. Like, I just don't think, like, why don't we have like a good Amtrak rail system,
I think part of it is that we're much more spread out than Europe.
That's true. That's true. The entire of Europe is the state of Texas, more or less. So like,
I agree with you that I would like to see. I mean, I like trains. I love taking
oh,
trains.
I fucking love. One time I was in living in Utah, and I had to go back home to go back east to go see my ailing mother, right? And this was ages ago. And so I hated flying even back then. And so I was like, you know what? I'm taking the fucking train. The train from Utah to New Jersey took about 3 to 4 days. I think it took 3 days. And I was like, I would rather spend 3 days on the ground in a train than deal with the airport and do all that, you know. Half of that is because I wanted to be high and drunk the whole time, I admit. But like, it was still like crazy, you know, and just like, I just don't think, I don't know. So I don't think public transportation is ever going to be the saving grace here in America. Because like you said, is a good point. Like America's so big, but I
Yeah,
just
I
don't
just think it
think, I don't think
depends,
that's a
right?
culture we like trains. We like to be, and it is true. Like we cannot, increasingly so, we cannot behave ourselves around each other as a whole. It's going down. We
It's going
can't do it
downhill. Yeah,
anymore.
I'm kind of in the middle on that. I think that in certain circumstances, it makes a lot of sense. High speed rail will be great. In others, it won't get used much, right? But I just think you got to be smart on where you put it. Like I think they did one here from Orlando to Tampa. It's like I think nobody uses that. But like,
Right. There's not a lot, but what do you think about the one from San Francisco to LA? It's
I
going to
don't
be a
know
really
enough about like how I don't know enough about that the West Coast thing to know how many people will use that. I mean, in theory, I think it's a good
okay.
idea.
A lot of people will use that because when you're in the whole Northern California to Southern California up and down is big. It's
Huge.
very, very big. It's different than going from New Jersey to Florida. It's for some reason it's going to get used, and they're talking it's one of these high speed ones. Like you're going to be able to get on and go from point A to point B, and they're making an express, not a whole hell of a lot of stops in between. So it just fucking barrels down there, and you can get down to fucking. You can be in San Francisco and get down to LA in like a couple hours. Whereas we know the problem with just traffic around LA, just the surrounding traffic around LA, that could take 3 hours to get 20 miles. So if they have something set up to where that's going to work, I mean, that's great. But it just sort of like, I saw that story and I'm like, okay, are people going to use it? I don't know. I really don't. I don't just trust Americans' DNA, and I don't trust that Americans can even behave. Like, there's going to be problems. Like the minute they come out with that, and there's people on that train misbehaving, and I don't know. The thing about trains that also freaks me out is like, I go out to the desert in the middle of nowhere a lot. So what about this, Dan? Those train tracks are accessible to anyone. And I'm talking, yes, what about in a weird terroristic sense? Like any kid can go up and put quarters on a train track and flatten them, Like it's a very wide Achilles heel. Like you're going to fuck with some trains is probably pretty easy. You just go in the middle they just run through the middle of land and anyone have access to it. It's not like there's a fence,
I don't know,
The whole
man.
thing
You're
worries me.
giving people some ideas here. It makes me a little.
Those ideas are out there. I don't think I'm the one that came up with these fucking ideas. Dan.
Yeah, I generally like trains, but yeah, I agree. It's a weird. It is a weird polarizing thing in this country, and it's one of those situations where I can't because you know me. I hate tribal politics. I hate it. I hate it when people don't look at it, don't deal in issues, right? So either something is a good idea or it's a bad idea, right? You have an opinion. What do you think of this? What do you think of that? What do you think of this? I don't like the idea that, well, because I'm team red or team blue, I have to think X. But trains are one of those things where for whatever reason, it's become one of those. Where
I don't think so. Do you think trains is a team red versus team blue thing?
not extremely so, but to an extent, yes. Because
I don't pick up that up at all. I think
it's
that's
100%.
I don't
100%. Offline, I'll send you some examples, but it's weird. You have some types who see you are like me. We like trains, but we also say sometimes maybe it doesn't make all that much sense, right? Like Tampa to Orlando or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but other times, man, that would be really nice to have, right? So that's how I look at it. But like I've seen too many examples where it's just so strange. It's how it is these days, where if somebody gloms onto it, it just becomes this And it's like, why? Why is a train political? Like either it's a good idea and hey, it's money well spent because a lot of people will use it, or it's a bad idea because, well, no one's going to use this for XYZ reason, because it's only an hour and a half drive anyway, or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, I don't want to.
I don't know. The train is just kind of interesting because it's like, so that we talked about it on the podcast a while ago, how just I think over in all society, like behavior is getting worse.
Oh, and God, it's awful. It's awful. We're doomed.
You probably noticed it in other parts of the airport. It's not just right
no, we're
when
doomed.
you just
we're doomed. We're doomed. What's it going to be like in 20 more years?
Think
about what it's like now compared to what it was like when we were children. We were in the 80s and we were kids. Think about it. Think about how much worse it is now. Right? And now think about.
Yeah, I have a hard time thinking about like, was it really so much better because we come across like boomers if we start talking like that. Back in my day, we were more respectful.
I don't give it. Call it what you want. I'm just telling you my experience in this world is
that things are getting worse.
Didn't seem as overtly rude and selfish 40 years ago as they are now. That's how it feels, right? It just feels worse all around. And part of it might be there's just more people. Like we're way more populated now than we were then. That might be part of it. But I don't think that it's a boomery thing to say. I think this is true. I just think in general, like the experience of everything, whether it be flying, whether it be going out to eat in a restaurant, whatever it is, everything's gotten worse. That's how it feels to me.
And maybe that's perception because remember we did talk about this. How about like maybe social media is behind one of the reasons, and it's because I see more of it. Like maybe back in because I was a horrible teenager. Me and my friends were a nightmare. I'm sure I would have hated myself. The adult Bruce would have hated the teenage Bruce, 100%. Yeah. We were a nightmare. At Denny's, we would throw packets of sugar at other people and just fucking, horrible. And so like, but we never saw that because there was no social media. But now we see like fucking tons of video and examples of really bad human beings, people arguing in Burger King, people throwing around food, people causing problems in planes, one video after the next. And maybe it's I consume an awful lot of social media and I see a lot of it. So I feel like maybe that's altering my perception that there's a lot of it out there just because I'm seeing more of it and more examples of it. Where if I kept my head in the sand, which honestly, I'm starting to think that's lately I've been sort of like thinking about my mental health and about how things like, we pay attention to stuff like this, Dan, right? Like the people misbehaving in the airport and different sort of social situations and stuff and how like it can grind down on me and make me feel like bummed out. And
forget social media. I'm talking about my experience as a human walking around.
Right.
I'm just saying.
You see more and more of it. But is it a perception thing where you're just like, maybe it's irritating you the older you get and it was always there?
I guess that's possible.
I don't know,
maybe.
Dude.
I mean, it might be. Know. Maybe you're right. I don't know.
But yeah, all I know is that fucking I hate flying. And if I'm you in this airport and I have the same sort of thing going on, I mean, I fucking...
Excuse me, is anyone sitting here, Mr. Bruce?
I might, you know what? The older I've been getting very spicy as I get older too. Like I might bust that move. Excuse me, you play the little girl. I'm you sitting in the seat. You play the little girl.
Excuse me, is anyone sitting here?
Hold on, I'm looking at you this way. So do it again. I'm reading a newspaper.
Excuse me, is anyone sitting here, sir?
Sitting in this chair right next to me?
Yeah.
No one's sitting in that chair, but I'm sitting in this chair right here.
Okay. And then she would just take that seat.
Okay, so now you take the seat next to me. Move a little closer to the screen. Okay, and then I'm going to go like this. I'm going to be like...
Do you think these people recognize? She's got her playbook.
Okay, you're right. I'd get up and leave at that point. I'd get up and leave at that point. Oh my God, the phone noise would be like, what?
You think they notice if you huff and puff? They don't give a fuck. They don't care.
So how do we up our game? How do we up our game? Do we say something like, are you really going to play the fucking phone right next to me? Really? Like, yeah.
And then the mother, then you got the mother's attention.
And then the mother.
You said fuck. It's a little Braylon. Braylon can't hear a fuck.
I'm going to yell at the girl, and now you're going to be the mom coming in. So get back on the phone. really, I'm going to sit here and you asked me. So now you're going to sit in the, okay, listen here, 5-year-old girl. You're really going to, do you have headphones for that? It's very annoying. No, listen, can you not do that? I was sitting here first and now you're here making a lot of noise with the phone. I don't care that you're 5, by the way. I was sitting here first and now here comes the mom. Be the mom. So now you're going to first.
Excuse me.
Yes?
Excuse me. How old are you?
I'm 56.
Well, she's 6.
I don't give a fuck how old she is. I was sitting here first. Can you imagine?
She would call security, Bruce. She would call security.
I know. She would call security.
You know
what would happen? I would be on TikTok because people would be focusing their cameras on me. This guy's acting like a monster.
You're assaulting a young mother who's breastfeeding.
Then I would be the bad guy. I would 100%. Be the bad guy.
She would go full Karen, but you would be the bad guy. 100%. Like, look at this broad. Like, come on. Yeah. You think this broad's not going to fucking call the cops?
She's going to call. Yeah.
She's going to get the cops.
That is true, but most people will look at that situation between a well-behaved 5-year-old girl and an overly cranky 56-year-old who's standing up for his empty seat area, and I'm the bad guy. And I guess I can see why.
Well, I mean, again, I assume. I was
going to say, not like in that little exercise that we did, no older man like me is going to be like, could you please turn that? You're just going to get up and leave. You have to get up and leave. You got to be the bigger guy and realize, okay, I'm the adult.
What have we said this whole episode? You're playing the odds. What are the odds? Yeah. Number one, that when this kid sits down and mommy and her other kid and her other mommy and the other kid and the daddy and they all sound, what are the chances they're not going to be annoying?
So now I'm thinking about out of the box solutions to that scenario. Okay, so she sits down, she starts playing on the phone. Then I take out my phone at the same time and go,
turn it way up.
Yeah, turn it way up, or just have a fake phone conversation and talk like this the way they do on their phone. Be like, yeah, Marty. Oh, yeah? So now I'm leaning towards the little girl. Yeah. So that was a crazy bachelor pad. Yeah, that was a 3-input whore all the way, and that was amazing. Man, when you busted out the can of hairspray, and that was full insertion, boy, she stretched out on that one. Yeah, excuse me? I'm just talking to my friend.
Hey, what's up? What's the problem? Wait, what do you mean? You want me to turn this down? Wait, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm sorry. What?
I'm thinking.
Wait a minute. Your child is playing her phone loud. What's the difference?
Yeah, I can put my phone loud.
What? The child is playing her phone. What's the difference?
Modern problems require modern solutions.
But the child's phone is loud. Why can't I? Listen. Oh yeah, it said "fuck like a beast."
You don't like that?
Oh. You want me to turn it off or listen with headphones?
That means I'll tell you what. I'll turn mine off if she turns hers off, and then meanwhile it doesn't matter. Like you're still going to jail in handcuffs.
You're going to jail. It doesn't matter. They will never side with you. The child could be. There's nothing that can happen where they would not take that child's side. The child could be punching you in the arm. The child can listen to their phone or iPad on level 10. They can be snotting. They could be shitting their pants. It doesn't matter. You're the bad guy.
We're the adult. It's always going to come down to we're the adult. We should know better. We should take the higher road.
The only solution, Bruce, is to get the fuck out of there. That's it.
There's no one.
There's no good outcome because you can try. Like, look, I could have tried to sit there, hold my ground, right?
Right.
I'm not going to move. And then what do I have? I have mommy to my right. I have kid to my left. I have other kid in front of me. I have other kid, and then I got daddy. Maybe I've just, what is your power of spite, like George Costanza, is your power of spite that strong to where you will overly knowingly give yourself a bad time and put yourself in a bad position just to take away their good time? No, I want to get out. I want out.
My sense of spite is I might have time for that. Like I might just be like, you know what? I'm going to just ruin their day now. I'm going to sit here, hold my ground, and I'm not going to move. And I'm going to have a bad phone conversation. I'm going to listen to "Fuck Like a Beast." I'm going to talk about
I'm telling you, I couldn't do it. I would. This is like It's like the 3-minute gay kiss, right? It's like,
Right.
how long could you last before you're like, I just can't do this anymore, right?
Yeah, the 3-minute.
I would do better with a 3-minute gay kiss than I would trying to sit next to that child.
What would you do better? Okay, the 3-minute gay kiss versus 3 minutes. You got to sit in that middle chair while mommy on the right is breastfeeding, and the little kid. Hold on, let me set. And then the little kid is right on the other side of the chair with you, kicking her legs wildly and listening and watching a very annoying children's. Just going like super loud, like. But both of them are 3 minutes. Which one do you pick?
Oh, give me the gay kiss, 100%.
The gay kiss.
100%.
Wow, you're gonna have a man's hand holding behind your head.
Don't care. I that is how much I dislike. That is how much I dislike proximity to children.
3-minute gay kiss.
What about you? Would you rather the kid and the mommy?
Shit.
Seriously, that 3 minutes would seem like a year.
No, I mean, I might pick the kid and the mommy because I think you're really. Have you ever had a man's tongue in your mouth before?
No, I have not.
Okay.
I know, but who gives a shit? Who cares?
Yeah, but the 3 minutes is a very long time. What
if
the gay kiss? What if the guy is like moaning in ecstasy as he does it, like he's really exploring the inside of your mouth with his tongue?
Okay, you're probably right. You're probably right.
Come on, I think I'm a little right. It's probably closer. Okay. All right. What if it's a 3-minute gay kiss versus 10 minutes of sitting? Yeah, then I'm with you. I'm with the gay kiss.
There's a ratio.
Yeah, there's a ratio. It can't be a 3-to-3 because it's not one is not. But like, yeah, I think if it's like 10 minutes with the kid and the cartoon,
with the kid versus 1 minute gay kiss.
Yeah. Wow, that's a tough one. I'm taking the 1 minute gay kiss.
I am too. I can't
Yeah, 1 minute gay
deal
kiss.
with that. I can't deal with that.
The
mommy, the whole thing would drive me insane. Really? I would be going insane. I'd be like, these fucking.
What if the man? Hold on. During the 3-minute gay kiss, would it make a difference whether the man was cleanly shaved or he had a smooth skin? Like, in other words, you feel the man's mustache on your. Because maybe.
I still think the 1 minute would be better than the 10. I could not. 10 minutes with mommy to my right and child to my left and other child in front of me and other child and daddy, couldn't do it.
Yeah, you know what? You might be right. I'm taking the fucking gay kiss all day long. I'm taking the gay kiss and I'm getting into it as well because it's just like I'm just be happy to get out of that fucking.
I mean, if we're talking about a 14-year-old kid who's more like an adult, I still wouldn't like it, but that's.
Yeah, I'm talking about a badly behaved 5-year-old kid who's watching the cartoon, kicking their legs, humming, doot, 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 and picking their nose.
No.
Yeah.
No.
All right, let me throw this one. I got to throw one more at you before we leave. So it's a trifecta. It's the 3-minute gay kiss. It's the 10 minutes with the kid and the mommy. Or
we said 1 minute. 1 minute.
Okay, 1 minute. Okay. The third option is you're sitting in the middle seat. There's 2 people wearing N95 masks on either side of you, and they are being quiet, but they're wearing the N95 masks, and they're shooting you side eyes because they think that you're German.
Oh, no, I would love, other than the proximity, being in a middle seat, I would love that because I would just laugh right at them.
So the spite thing would take over. Like you would enjoy giving them.
I would have so much fun observing every movement they make because those people I find endlessly fascinating. Like, so I would study them like lab rats. I would study them like lab rats. Like, do you take it off? Do you get a drink? Are you afraid to get a drink? Are you afraid to eat? Do you have hand sanitizer? Or if you drink, what do you drink? If you order food, what food do you get? I'm fascinated by every element of these germaphobes. I am.
So the kids in the family, it's more of an ear, and you're not fascinated with them. You just want to
no. I want to get away from them. No, I'm not. I'm not like repulsed by the germaphobes. I'm fascinated. Yeah. I'm just fascinated. Like I would want to observe everything they do.
What if? Okay, Okay. What if you had? Okay, you have to sit in between the guys with the N95 masks for 3 minutes, and you have to wear an N95 mask for 3 minutes. You just have
Would
to
I
wear.
rather? You're asking me, would I rather wear a mask for 3 minutes or sit next to a child for 3 minutes?
You have to wear
It's
the
not
N95
even.
mask. You have to for 3 minutes and sit next to two other guys wearing the
Oh, I
N95
mean,
mask, and you're not
that's
allowed
an
to talk
easy
about
one.
it or do anything.
That's an easy one. I'd rather do that than sit next to a child.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's easy.
What about the gay kiss? The mask
The
wins,
mask
right?
is no big deal. I mean, I would feel stupid.
I'm trying to find out a situation where the mask, like you choose the gay kiss over the mask. Like there's got to be something involving the mask where the mask that you'd rather do the gay kiss than the mask. I'm just trying to figure out what form that would take. I guess I can't figure it out.
Listen. It's no. It wouldn't like when they were mandated. I wore them. It's fine. I don't care. Like that's not irritating. Like the fact that people think they work is irritating. But that's like you can't like. That's not the same as sitting next to a child where you just want to crawl out of your skin.
Well, masks work, Dan.
N95 masks work.
Yeah.
Not. I'm talking about the cloth fucking Paw Patrol mask they made children wear. Those are not. Those will do nothing. 0.0. 0.0.
All right, Dan.
Scientifically proven, my friend. 0.0.
Okay.
Nothing.
Okay. That's
I
why
told you why
doctors
they wear them at the hospital.
And
To
that's
stop
why doctors
spittle.
wear them.
Spittle. Sits for spittle, not for viruses. I can prove it to you. But you're convinced. I know you don't want to listen to me. But
I'm not convinced. Here's what I think. When it comes to facts and medical facts, I would trust stuff that is written in complicated medical journals with studies.
And that's what I will send you. That's what I will send you. That's what I will send you.
You said you found a study that was done in Turkey or something.
No, it was a randomized control. There was all over the world they did them. It's called a randomized controlled trial. They did them all over the world. Denmark, they did it in Bangladesh, they did it in. They're all over the place.
I'm just saying, as a whole, it's becoming harder, and you would agree to this. It's becoming harder to, depending on who's doing the study.
Well, yeah, because so much of those are. There's incentives. There's incentives money-wise, but not with masks. Like with medications and big pharma.
I'm saying depending on what people want, who's funding the study, and what outcome they want. This is in a bigger picture. This is not masks. This is things in general.
Well, of course, yeah, it's all phony.
They're going to want, and so it's becoming a thing to. Really, like, what do you trust? And I'm talking about the bigger picture.
You have to read between the lines.
What do you trust?
Any of this stuff. You have to read between the lines. You have to look at
who's doing the study. What do they have? What are their interests in it?
Because if you're doing a randomized controlled trial, which is how most scientific studies are, where you have a control group and another group, right?
Yeah.
Those are harder. Like if you're doing that above board, and they put out their results, like this is what happened, this is what we observed. It's harder to kind of fake.
Let me ask you this. Remember we were talking about masks before and you were super upset because you wanted the CDC website. You were all fired up. You had the CDC website. They had not updated their terms about masks.
Right.
And in the light of these new studies, and you thought that they should change that. You remember we talked about that?
Because I'd like to think that in a country of this size, with this much money going into that organization, that if they're going to tell you that you need to do something, like here's what we recommend, they would back it up with real science. And what they used and continue to this day, if you look it up, what they used to back it up are observational studies and surveys. Meaning we went to a hair salon in Kansas on this date, and we surveyed how many people wore masks and who got sick. That's not scientific.
But you wanted the CDC to update it.
Yeah, say, look, we see there's been 72 randomized controlled trials done. Here are the results, and we're going to amend our guidance to say here are the situations where what kind of masks work, how well they work in certain situations.
So devil's advocate. So do you feel that Dan Richmond has access to information and studies to see that they need to change that? Then the CDC,
because these have been done by reputable organizations. The problem with all of this,
why do you think the CDC is not updating it?
Because all of these institutions, not just the CDC, are captured. They're captured. and it's the same with the FDA. It's the same. I can give you a million examples. They are captured. They are a slave to corporate interests and to political interests, and they're not purely a science organization. It's the same thing with all of them. It's the same thing with all of them. Like you see these drugs being approved, and like the shit that just happened with the Sacklers and the opioid lawsuits, and there's so many examples of
so there's capitalism and corporate interests behind all
keeping the
things
all it
the way
is.
they are.
That's all it is. It's capitalism and corporate
That's
interest.
fair.
It is the marriage of corporate power and government. But they shouldn't be married. They should hate each other. In a healthy world.
The CDC should be a neutral government organization.
Totally neutral. They should be operating purely on what we know, purely on science. In 2020, we didn't know how well these masks work, if at all. We didn't know. We were saying, well, let's do it because it might work. But now it's 2024, and now we know because we've had studies done.
Did you remember I said, well, you should write them a letter and say, like, get a writing on.
They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. They don't care.
Seem pretty passionate about it. I mean,
what harm? Fuck. Believe me, there's people smarter than me who have written letters. The actual epidemiologists and doctors and people who are like, what in the fuck is going on in this country? Where we have an organization that is this captured, that is making these absurd recommendations that make no sense at all. And it's all because of corporate capture. It is all because of corporate capture, period. And it's the marriage of it's capitalism gone run amok with married to corporate, to government.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that for sure.
It's all it is. It's not just the CDC. I don't want to single them out. It's all of them. It's all of them. The EPA, all of them. That train derailment that happened in Ohio, that's a whole other thing. You had massive pollution because of these chemicals that spilled, and the fucking EPA is like, oh yeah, it's all clear, good, you're good, you're good, guys, you're set, no problem. And
the bad water in Flint, Michigan, the water in Flint, Michigan that you can't drink that lights when it comes out of the hose.
Yeah, it is disgusting, and everything is based on money, all of it, 100%.
I'm with you there.
You can't. And I know you think I'm crazy, conspiracy theorists. I just don't trust any of them. I just think they're all captured. They're all captured. And it doesn't matter who's president. They're all captured.
Then I think that the outro of the Heeb Goy should be the doom and gloom goth one, that it was fitting that you have.
You mean the goth or the Neil Young doom and gloom?
No, the Heeb Goy, that one. That's
we're gonna wrap up. I got to feed pigs.
Okay, so next week, but how do I get drums involved? How do I? If I sent you a Heeb, could you dub guitars? If I sent you something with me singing and playing drums, could you then somehow play guitar over that? And that way we can have a simple 2-track.
Nowadays they have remember I used to have a 4-track when I was a kid.
I know. I used to have a 16. Well, of course.
So nowadays there's this computer software that comes with the fucking computer, and you send me like an MP3 of whatever, I can layer over it with guitars for sure.
Yeah. The
problem is all my guitars are packed up. But once I get into the RV and I'm keeping one guitar while I'm in the RV.
Yeah, I'm looking to buy a drum set. I'm looking on the market to buy a drum set because I'm gonna get back into playing drums and getting on stage playing in, Grateful Dead cover bands or just anything to get back on the stage with a drum set.
I played in a band in high school, and when you play in a band, you always fuck around on everyone else's instrument,
Oh yeah.
I always love the drums, man. I'm not good at it.
Fun.
I'm not good at it, but I love it. And I have long considered buying one of those just small, cheap, kind of like the pads, not like an acoustic drum set.
They're so cheap now. You can get one for $200-$300.
I know.
You wear headphones,
and
it's like do, and Kara will never hear it. You can just be in there playing around with it. It's fucking great.
I really think I might do that because
you should.
I've just always I love
Dan, if you love to do it, that alone, it doesn't matter how good. Yeah, but that is an art thing. It doesn't matter how good you are at something. If you gain enjoyment out of it.
Yeah. I think I might do that. I think that'd be fun. I've tinkered with the bass here and there, but I've always played guitar. But I think that would be fun. I think
you're good on the guitar. You're good on the guitar, and you're good singing. You're good structuring songs. High quality stuff.
High quality. 3 chords with a guy who could barely hold a tune. But
but another Heeb Goy show being wrapped up at 1.
This is number 27. Number 28 will be from the RV. hopefully next
I'll
Sunday.
try to. I feel like I didn't do a good job today coming up with stuff to talk about.
No, it's okay. We got an hour and 20 out of this, out of this for stumping crap. Out of me bitching about a kid, who was polite. Actually, the kid was actually polite.
And the photo is not damning, by the way. When you showed that photo, like the well-behaved family, well-behaved kids, and people are absolutely going to be like,
"No, I know." And you and I admit that we're weird. We're the weird ones.
I am out of my mind when it comes to this.
Yeah.
I am out of my mind when it comes to this.
As a mother, do you really want me hanging around your child? Is that what you want?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you rather me go the fuck away?
That's why whenever someone's like, "Oh, I'm really worried about drag shows and them bothering the kids," and it's like, I know some drag queens. You know what? They hate kids.
They hate kids. Yeah.
They hate most gay dudes.
No, they
drag
don't
queens.
They don't want to be around your children.
They don't want to be around. And it's funny when they're honest, they'll say that. But when they are, in a social situation, they'll be like, "Hi, Jimmy, how are you?" Like, they're friendly, way better than me and you.
They're friendly, but they feel how we do. Yeah, generally speaking.
100% don't want to be around them. They're like, "Ugh, get them away."
Yeah. All right, I'm going to do the outro.
Outro. Heeb Goy.
Next week, look for me in the RV, and that'll be the tease.
Oh my God, Dan in an RV.
This is it. Say goodbye to the setup. This is it.
Bye, old setup.
Even